Welcome to the day 3 pre-match live. Hopefully what's an interesting day of test cricket, especially if you're an Indian fan. And something that we do see is improvement with the Indian bowlers. It's great to see you guys here. We are late. We were supposed to start this at 2:45, but here we are at 2:50.
Life.
We still have a lot of things to talk about.
Yep.
We have, if you're joining in for the first time, hit that like button. Help us push this live to a lot more people. We have a lot of things to talk about. We have things in relation to players to watch out for, moments to watch out for, what India needs to do today to improve. Few technical breakdown with Jasprit Bumrah's action and why he's so difficult to play. And then we will talk to you guys. And then we shall hope for the best with the Indian players in the test match.
Chat, what's up? Let us know if you can hear us and all of that. I think is the case.
Yeah, hopefully, because according to us, this is no data. So, so I'm not sure. Shout me out. Hey, Samrit. I give you a shout out.
Can you guys let us know if we're...
Oh, no, we're fine.
there?
No, we're
Yeah,
fine.
Okay.
We're good to go. Hi, Rishit. Hi, Akshay. The situation ain't that bad. The game is balanced, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will kind of... Yeah, that's true. I mean, as much as the bowling were in shambles yesterday, so were the England bowlers on day one. So
Yeah, true. I think because of the position that we could have ended up in is why we...
Yeah.
A lot of people might think that we are behind, but yeah, still...
Hey, Shrikant. Hey, Rishit. Hey,
Really
Judge. Guys, we acknowledged this yesterday. We went 2 lives without any of you guys saying echo. I feel like in all of the lives we've done, this is an achievement in itself.
We've made it.
Yeah, I think
it's a
we've
good
come
time to
far.
retire.
We've grown.
Yep.
Praatib's camera quality has improved. We have lost echo. The only thing remaining is to make sure Praatib's camera doesn't shut off in every 30 minutes. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the thing to think about. Hi, Vishnu. All right. So we don't expect a lot of crowd pre-match, but we do appreciate a lot of you guys and all of you guys coming here. So thank you so much for that. All I wish is the huge ball of fire is not covered by the clouds in England. Wouldn't you hope that it's covered by the clouds in England?
Yeah, why... I mean, do you want it to spin more?
I don't know what the huge ball of fire is now. I don't
is
know
the
if it's a
sun, right?
player. Oh, okay. I mean, all I wish is the huge ball of fire is covered
Yeah,
by the
correct.
clouds. If
Yeah.
I was bowling, but
Oh.
right. So if I was bowling, let's just get into it. Hi, Vishnu. Talking about the pitch.
Cool. So with the pitch, we've seen how it's played out in the last couple of days. It is a belter to bat on if a batter is able to get in on this pitch. There's a lot of runs on offer. Having said that, the overcast conditions are going to be important. The overhead conditions are going to be important. Yesterday, when the brief period for which it was overcast, we saw India absolutely tumble. They lost their way. They lost 7 wickets for 41 runs. All of this when it was cloudy. When England came out to bat, they started off with cloudy weather and then the day got progressively better to bat in simply because the sun came out beating down on the surface of the pitch. And that's why England were also able to get away. Also, Indians didn't bowl particularly well. But if we go by the last couple of days, and we've seen a little bit of turn as well, today should be the moving day of the test match in the sense that the overcast conditions might just dictate who this game goes to. There was a couple of chats, couple of comments that I saw around possibly it being rainy in Leeds. There is a forecast. Some people are saying that it's already raining. So let us know what the situation there is. But if it's raining, then if it's overcast, then India are going to have a ball. I think they can come out, do well in that first session of play and really put England on the back foot. But if the sun's out, then it might be a little tricky to start getting wickets right off the bat.
That is about the pitch. You know, for those of you guys talking about Arshdeep Singh. By the way, the wits against the Brits is... What is it actually?
What we have to do against the...
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, great. All right, cool. So I wanted to say a lot of you guys talking about Arshdeep Singh. I just wanted to call this out, right? So a lot of you guys who think Arshdeep Singh, he might possibly be the next big thing in Indian cricket, but a lot of you guys talking about how IPL performances shouldn't bring you into the test squad. Arshdeep Singh is just that, because if you look at his first class averages in India or in Ranji Trophy or the way he's bowled, he hasn't really been impressive with the red ball cricket. We don't disagree with him being picked in the 15, but to just discard everything, even for example, Akashdeep has done, and to say that Arshdeep Singh should be in the playing 11, isn't that a bit of hypocrisy? Is all I wanted to say. But right, let's talk about what India needs to do today. It's easier said than done, but I think consistency-wise, they need to be a lot more consistent than they were yesterday. I think Bumrah Bumrah was on fire, so that's fine. I think Bumrah and Siraj should start off. Again, Siraj should start. And I will be surprised if Siraj doesn't start off well today. As much as we criticized him yesterday, we put out a whole reel about it, and we went on a whole rant about Siraj and his first spells. I will be surprised if his first spell today is not good. And so I think Siraj and Bumrah start off. They hit a foolish length. So Stuart Broad, Stuart Broad knows his stuff, right? In this ground, he's the highest wicket taker historically. And Stuart Broad keeps talking about you have to pitch it full, but pitching it full doesn't mean you just float it up there, letting the batter to drive. You still have to have something behind that ball. And the two bowlers that you think would have that is Bumrah and Siraj. And so for them to keep pitching it up, making sure that the batters are playing at it and not just letting it go freely or pitching it short and letting them play the cuts and the pulls, I think that's what they need to start off with, being consistent. And again, Stuart brought something that he did say yesterday is that usually the first 30 minutes there's nothing really happening on the pitch, so the team bowling shouldn't panic. And this is because of the rollers that the batting team uses, because the pitch is as flat as it can get. And after the first 30-45 minutes, that's when the pitch starts livening up. Yeah, right. Livening up, if that's a word. And so even if there's nothing happening in the first 30-45 minutes, because it's Shubman Gill's first test, he will have to tell himself that, hey, it's okay. Even if there's no swing, no seam, there's absolutely nothing. For the first 30 to 45 minutes, you just have to stay patient. The bowlers need to grind it out, keep it consistent. And then you have Prasidh Krishna coming in. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, right? Because Prasidh Krishna, in case, again, he's inconsistent, not bowling as well as he's supposed to, then what do? Do you bring in Shardul Thakur or do you bring back Jadeja? And Jadeja will have an not expensive, a very critical role to play today, because day 3 is called the moving day because things happen. You almost know which team is going to win, or at least have the bigger hand by the end of the day. So Jadeja on this pitch especially, this is a pitch made for him. Some balls turn, some balls just go straight on. So Jadeja will have to be impressive. And that is when Shubman Gill, the captain, and this is why we can find out Shubman Gill, the captain, and how he's going to go about his bowling changes. So that is something to watch out for, which we will also talk about. But yeah, essentially, it's easier said than done. But the main thing is the Indian bowlers will need to bowl a little more fuller and stay consistent. It's okay if you're inconsistent with the line, but what I'm hoping is that you're consistent with the length. And that was something that was missing yesterday. Let's go to Finn to win.
Cool. So Finn to win is players to watch out for. The first person obviously will be the overnight centurion, and that's Ollie Pope. And here's the thing with Ollie Pope, and this is something that was spoken about a lot on commentary, is that Ollie Pope struggles to get starts, but once he gets in, it is a task to get this man out. We also saw that yesterday. He's batting overnight, he's got his century. And just to read out what Ollie Pope has done with his centuries itself, so 100 not out is where he's batting in the current test match. Apart from that, his centuries are 108, 121, 135 not out, 145, 154, 171, 196, and 205. And that basically goes on to say that every time Ollie Pope has got a century, more or less he's been able to carry on beyond 140. And that is ominous signs, and that's why it will be important for us to not only watch out for Ollie Pope, but hopefully get him within that first hour. Otherwise, this game is going to be taken away so fast, we won't realize what hit us. So that's on Ollie Pope. Apart from that, Mohammad Siraj, something that Ashwin also touched upon, how he goes this morning is going to be crucial for India's chances to close out England's innings. Because if Mohammad Siraj gets into a good rhythm, which we really hope he does, and we think he should, then it is going to be a good day for India. And lastly, and this is something that we missed out yesterday, we should have got Harry Brook in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the day's play.
The last over.
Last over,
The
yeah.
second last ball.
Yeah.
Or the third last.
Yeah. But thanks to a no ball, we could not get him out. But the thing with Harry Brook is, here's his last seven innings, right? He's got 200s, he's got 250s, and in the remainder of the games, he's been dismissed below 10. So make sure you get him out before 10, otherwise he also might dominate. And yeah, it's a very tricky situation because you have two batters who, if they get starts, are probably going to bat a day.
Yeah. That's Finn to win. What's lit in bread? That's things to watch out for, moments to watch out for. Couple of things. We'll start off with the pitch. Praatibh's already covered this. It'll be interesting to see how the pitch plays. The amount of carry it has, the amount of average bounce in comparison to the last 2 days. So that's the pitch itself. Even turn, the amount of turn, the pitch gets. Again, in the first 30 to 45 minutes, don't expect a lot of turn, and then things might just start to happen. The other thing is conditions. So we do know that it's been overcast or it's been raining or will rain and all of that. So conditions will come into play, especially above the sky, above the ground conditions. So it will be like yesterday where things might get a little more difficult than before or after. And when things do get difficult, you would only hope that the Indian bowlers do step it up. But those are the things amongst the conditions to watch out for. Something I already covered about is the way Shubman Gill goes about his bowling changes. Now, this is an entirely new day. Yesterday, India batted and then came on to bowl. So it's easy to have a specific time period. You know you have 2 sessions to go and you know what to do. Now you have 3 sessions. So you're assuming that the Indian bowlers will have a date to bowl.
Yeah.
And so this is where the captain needs to step it up. I'm not saying he didn't do a good job yesterday. I just think the only criticism would have been it took way too long to introduce Shardul Thakur. But today will be a day that you can almost see what Shubman Gill is like a captain. And I'm not saying today will define his captaincy, but it's just because it's his first ever test match, you get an outline of what his captaincy might look like, because today is a new day. New bowlers will start, and then once, if there are no wickets falling, then it will be interesting to see how he goes about his bowling changes. Yeah, the pressure, how he makes things happen, because that's what you need to do as a test captain, or at least try to make things happen. And then the other thing to watch out for is
Bumrah spells.
Yeah.
How long are they going to be? How much workload is he going to have?
Yeah.
Because yesterday it was a carry job, hard carry job by Jasprit Bumrah. You can't expect him to do this. Okay, it's the first test, but you can't expect him to do this every day of every match that he's going to play.
You know, I didn't realize your face was in this. So when you started talking, and then I was like,
Nice.
that's why I kept talking. But yeah, the length of Bumrah's spell.
Yeah, that will be important because and possibly also how Jaddu shapes up today. I think you also touched upon the pitch itself. If it's going to turn more, if the sun beats down, definitely going to turn.
That's true. I was so confused.
Guys, like the stream if you have not already liked the stream. Here's some stats for you. Cool. So obviously the stuff on your screen, it also has to do mostly with Jasprit Bumrah. In fact, it only has to do with Jasprit Bumrah because he dominated all of yesterday from an Indian standpoint. He now has the most wickets by an Asian seamer outside in the Sena countries. He surpasses Wasim Akram. Bumrah's test bowling average now is sub 20, not subpar, against both right and left-handed batters. Before we started this test match, it was at 20 against both. Yeah. And since December 23, Bumrah has picked the most test wickets. And just look at those numbers. He's got 80 wickets with a bowling average of 15.2, striking at 30.5. He's getting you a wicket every 5 overs and every 15 runs, which is insane.
Yeah.
And he's also on par for the most number of fifers with Prabhat Jayasuriya and Pat Cummins.
Insane stuff from Jasprit Bumrah. Talking about him, we have a interesting technical tidbit. Now, we've made an entire video on Jasprit Bumrah. Sky Sports covered it yesterday, but let's go through it because I think it's very interesting. So on the left, here's his lowered or just before his release point. You see how back he gets. That's the whippy action. So the picture on the left, difficult to pick. So there are two things with Jasprit Bumrah, right? He's difficult to pick because of two aspects. One, you can't really judge the pace unless it's difficult to judge the pace and the line and length. And this is because of two aspects. One, the picture you see on the left, you see his elbow extending backwards. That is just a whippy action. You don't see him have a long run up. It's like he's hopping onto the crease. And because of his whippy action, it's because of those elbows he gets the pace that he does. But what is more interesting is the picture you see on the right. Now, a lot of people talk about, there are a few rage baiters who keep talking about how Bumrah chucks. If anything, chucking would be bending your arm forwards, and Bumrah has his elbow that, not bending your arms forwards, bending your elbow forwards. Yeah. But Bumrah has this elbow that extends backwards, which is insane.
Famous hyperextension of Jasprit Bumrah.
Hyperextended arm. That's where he gets his pace. That's where he gets all of that whip from to the ball. But the two other things is that you see the line on his leg, which is a brace front leg, which basically means when the bowler lands on his feet is straight. Now, this is essential because it makes sure all the momentum while with all the momentum that you have while running into ball with your stride and everything is transferred to the ball. The second your knees bend, the momentum is lost a little bit. You see a lot of fast bowlers with a bent front leg, which is fine because they're fast naturally or they're not express pace anyways. But if you have a braced front leg that is on landing, your knees are not bent, all that momentum is shifted to the ball, which means you're bowling at maximum speed or maximum potential. And then the other thing, you can see the arrow from his arm to the ground, which is in front of his face. Now, a lot of usual bowlers, if you see this kind of action, as a batter, you would just assume that is a short ball. Except with Bumrah, he can bowl exactly this and bowl a full in delivery or a Yorker, which is also why it's so difficult to pick up length because on average, Jasprit Bumrah's release point is 47 centimeters ahead of an average fast bowler, because of which you would, as a batter, think he's bowling a short ball, except it could possibly be a Yorker. Also, why Bumrah is a lot faster than he seems because his release point is ahead as compared to a lot of other fast bowlers. So he's getting a few yards closer to you as a batter for to a full end delivery, which also makes him much faster than the speed gun suggests. There's so much going on for Jasprit Bumrah, but it's not just this, of course. There's just technical stuff. He has the skills, he has the brains, he has all of that. But this is, when you think about his technique, it's just very interesting. And so, I mean, these are not minute details. If anything, these are very differentiating details.
Yeah,
What
I
makes
mean,
him,
makes a huge difference.
yeah, makes a
because,
huge difference. Yeah,
yeah, it's also not the norm. Like a
yeah,
lot of the bowlers around the world, nobody bowls like that.
yeah, true. Now let's go to addressing your chits. That's talking to the chat.
Chat, what's up?
Also, India dropped few catches, yes.
Oh yeah, India dropped. Also, they were horrible in the outfield.
Yeah.
A lot of horrible
And
ground
no
fielding
balls.
and no balls. Yeah, it was not a great day.
It's horrible in general. It's diabolical that India still can't look beyond Bumrah, at least in test. We don't have to look beyond Bumrah. Like, why do you have to look beyond him?
I mean, if he's only going to play 3 test matches in a 5 test match series
You have to look.
with him.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
beside.
His hyperextended arm is the thing how Shoaib Akhtar used to bowl 150 plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really sure. I'll have
We'll
to
have
check.
to see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah. It's chatter's time. Exactly, Kulveer Singh. It is chat time. Please, no more than 10 overs
For
of Bumrah bowling.
in the day,
The day would
if
be
he
quite
has
difficult.
yesterday he bowled 30.
I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
13.
13.
Jadeja dropping a catch is like once in a million moment. Yeah, that's true.
I like how Stark Edits has persisted with that comment. Even when we started the live, that comment was there.
Do you think that it's worth training bowlers to use Bumrah's technique if they can hyperextend that is 3-1?
No, because it's the same thing as if a coach had corrected Bumrah back in the day
Yeah.
to be conventional, then we wouldn't have a Bumrah. So I think it's best to just ensure that they're technically doing the best they can with the style that they have.
Yeah. It's like asking Steve Smith to play conventional or teaching another batter to play like Steve Smith. Like, it becomes very difficult to teach someone to be unconventional. The unconventional part of it comes just naturally to you. So no. Also because if your body's not used to it, I mean, Bumrah's doing this for the longest time. According to him, he's always bowled like this. If you're asking a bowler to change and start bowling how Bumrah bowls, injuries is a thing that will happen. Shardul justifying Gill decision to not bowl him by going at 10 runs per over, useless bowler. I mean, in Shardul's defense, by the time he came on, the ball wasn't doing much. But then the argument is, would you rather have your main bowlers do when the ball is doing something? I just didn't think it should have taken 39 overs for Shardul to be introduced.
Even if you're the problem is not that Shardul did not get a long spell. It's just about those smart decisions where you bring him when you want to switch another bowler's end. So
Yeah.
you bring him just to change the rhythm and the flow of the game at least.
Yeah. Kulveer, it's like saying Rishabh Pant to not play baseball. Something like that.
Kind
Watching reports live, it's quite overcast right now. And this should be it. Like, if first hour, I wouldn't say not even the first hour, the first session. It's fine if you don't get wickets in the first hour. We saw that yesterday. Gill and Pant got off to a good start, and then we saw 4 wickets go down.
Yeah. But if the conditions are already overcast, then I think India should really try and get wickets.
Conditions are forecast to deteriorate after 4 p.m. at Headingley Stadium with rain and
Ooh.
evening thunderstorm expected in the early evening. Humidity levels are expected to hover around 60%. With more humidity, more moisture in the air, which means more swing. And so hopefully there is a lot of swing and seam. Siraj, in fact, got a couple of balls to seam out to Ben duck it a couple of times. So, has India ever been considered an outstanding field? Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I mean, I think, yeah, dude, like
yeah,
this
100%
generation, I don't know. Yeah, teams of the past, Indian teams of the past were questionable.
since 2013.
It's
Yeah,
been brilliant, especially
100%.
under Kohli. We were a good
Yeah,
catching side as well. I feel like after COVID is when the catching standards have sort of down a bit.
right. Okay, this is a question that Prathir loves.
Mhm.
Vedant, can you guys, in caps, tell us why ball movement is more after 30 years old ball instead of a new ball?
I'm sure he meant 30 overs in years.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Uh,
even realize that. But yeah, 30 years old.
but yeah, a simple reason, especially for England
And the Dukes?
and the Duke's ball, is that when the Duke's ball is new and there's lacquer, the ball does not swing as much. So there's a couple of things, right? The reason why a ball swings is because of the surface and the interaction of the wind speeds or the wind with the surface of the ball. And so when one side is rougher than the other side that is smoother, that's when there is an imbalance that causes the ball to turn a certain way. Thing with my hands when I can just show you a ball. And so if this surface was rougher and this was smoother, and the wind would interact differently in terms of how it kind of went off of the surfaces of the ball, and that would cause an imbalance in the direction in which the ball goes, and that happens in the air, which causes swing. Now, why it
Also
takes
depends on the seam position, but yeah.
also depends on the
Yeah.
same position. Now, why it takes longer in England is because the Duke's ball is
1
manufactured.
minute, lads. He just made a mistake. He said 30 years by mistake. Like, it's okay. But go
So
on.
sad. But yeah, I mean, there was also discussion on how the Duke's ball has changed.
Yeah.
That is something we could probably cover in the post today if we
Yeah.
get enough information. But yeah, with the Duke's ball, because of how it's manufactured, the lacquer just stays on longer. So both sides are just smoother for longer. Also, the outfields in England, we've covered this in a recent video. Check it out. But yeah, that's the reason that it takes about 6 to 8 overs, because that's when one side really starts to get a little shuffed and the other side is still smoother.
There you go. And so there's also another thing. So Stuart Broad was talking about how he was surprised yesterday that Headingley, the new ball moved, because usually the new ball doesn't swing. So he was surprised a bit by that. But yeah, that's essentially why the old ball moves in England. Oh, thanks. No worries, Vedant. Hope chat Siraj shows up today. I will be shocked if he doesn't. And I'm not saying this out of anger or anything. Siraj, I think he improves by each spell. And I think today I'll be shocked if he doesn't do well in the first spell. Who do you think should bowl the first over to set the tone for the day, considering they're over? Bumrah. I mean, no question. Oh, Bumrah cannot. Siraj.
Siraj.
He will have to start.
Again, it depends on which end they finished at. Because if Siraj has to ball from the end where there's a slope, Siraj struggled from that end. So
It's a whole other
we
thing.
might actually see one
That's a
over of
solid question, you know.
change up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I won't be surprised if Prasid starts or Shardul starts. Yeah, I mean,
It
Bumrah
depends.
will take the better end.
Yeah,
So
Bumrah.
Siraj
Yeah.
will have to start from the worst end, and you can only
Yeah.
hope. Okay, so if you guys don't know what Prathip's talking about, so one end you have to run up the slope, and the other end you have to run down the slope. So Siraj, when he started off in the first spell, was running up the slope, and according to a lot of commentators, it's difficult to run up the slope and bowl, whereas it's easier to run down the slope and bowl. But also, running down the slope causes two things. One is that, so when you're running down the slope and when you land, like the bowling leg lands, so the bowling crease is a lot flatter than the slope itself. So when the bowler lands, you're landing a lot higher than you expect, which means you're landing a lot earlier than you expect, which means you're releasing the ball a little later than you, oh no, a little earlier than you expect, which is also why a lot of balls go over pitch close to the batter. It's weird to explain. I wish I had a diagram to explain. And not only this, because you're running down the slope, you sometimes tend to overextend your strides. That is the length of your run, which is also why we saw a lot of no balls from the end Jasprit Bumrah was bowling at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting things to think about.
Why is Ashwin wearing whites? Because it is test season.
Who was that? Whoever. I can't see.
You
But
guys have a video about this thing. What thing? I'm curious to know. Is it Shailesh? Yeah.
oh, I
let
know
us
those
know in the
Ashwin's.
chat.
Oh, I'm wearing whites because it's the red ball format, dude. We have to. As Bumrah is great, should India give him the tough slope to bowl? No, no. Okay, so
Yeah. What
okay, go on.
actually? What's your take on this?
I think the best bowler should take the easiest.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest, the best bowling side to bowl
Yeah,
at. This
yeah.
that's what you always do.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thoughts, but it's only because Siraj is on the other end. I'll tell you, like my reasoning behind this is that now Siraj is into some sort of rhythm. He knows what to expect, and so I'm hoping that even from the
Yeah.
tougher end, he will be able to do it. He is a workhorse, all of that. With Bumrah, he's the only one getting wickets. Might as well give him the best conditions to be able to produce a wicket.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, like, it's not that one end is easier or tougher to bowl with. It's which end is just more conducive to a fast bowler, and you would give that to your best bowler. It's like asking where would your best bat in the test squad bat at, and usually it's at number 4. Not because it's easier or tougher, but that's just what works. Collapse of 41 for 7 is still hard to believe. Yeah, that's true. Video about the slopes in England, what kind of challenges it creates for the batsmen and bowlers. We actually don't have a video on that.
Yeah, we
It will
don't.
be something interesting to talk about. Shardul should bowl more today. Yes. Now they both are Australians. They both, as in we both.
We are Indian, guys.
I think an SG. I'd be shocked if an Australian was an SG, right? Will Lord do Lord things today? Hopefully. I mean, Shardul does have the golden arm. He's known to break partnerships like NKR did in Bodgaoskar Trophy. Should Karun get a long rope if he fails in the next innings? Yes. Can India have
Yeah.
7 different batsmen for Sena countries and 7 other for Australian and Asian countries? Or SAN countries?
I don't think they should have 7 different batters, but if they have test specialists based on conditions, it's not a direction that India seems to be going in right now. But there are teams who've done that and succeeded.
Yeah.
So Australia, most notably.
How does overcast conditions affect the movement of the ball only in England? Overcast conditions affect everywhere around the
Yeah.
world. It's just the moisture content in England is a lot higher than anywhere. Not, I wouldn't say anywhere around the world. Depends actually where you are in the world.
Depends, yeah, on the geographies. But
Yeah.
also in England, the ball is
Yeah, also
different.
the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, Nitish should have been a better option than Shardul. Not really. Looking back at one innings is very, very unfair.
Yeah, if they only ball Shardul, like if they don't ball Shardul today, and if it's a case where in the test match he's barely bowling, then I'll say.
Yeah, true. I thought Prasid would be better. I didn't think he would be better. I think, according to us, he did what we expected him to, because every
Yeah.
time he's given a chance, he's been leaking a lot of runs. Before this, he's only played, 3 test matches, but
3.
had an economy of more than 4. So he's been quite inconsistent. But what I'm hoping is growth. What I'm hoping is to see him be more consistent than he is. Need Pope wicket or Harry Brook wicket? Whose wicket is more important right now? I think. Oh.
See, the thing is, Pope might not score as fast as if a Harry Brook gets
Harry
off.
Brook's a match winner.
So,
And so,
but yeah, like Pope, they're both really important wickets, because if Harry Brook crosses 10, very likely he's going to go get set and get a big one. And
Yeah.
Pope is already on 100. He gets Big Daddy 100.
damn, Sanket, thanks for that. Like, guys.
Yeah, please like the stream. Totally forgot to tell you guys.
Yeah,
I hope we have at least 50 likes. I'm going to do a
we
check.
don't.
Guys, come on.
Srivanth, does the way the pitch itself is play a role with the swing, not the air or anything, just the pitch?
It could if there's grass,
Yeah.
because then that affects the surface of the ball. The ball might go for longer and all of that. And vice versa is also true. When there's absolutely no grass and you're just banging the ball into the hard pitch, that would batter the ball.
I don't know what MCL is. Will MCL get cancelled considering the current tension? I know no one cares about that, but still. I don't
Are
know.
you talking about I forgot the one that's happening right now? That's Sudarshan keep talking about the T20.
Oh, I have
That is
no
what you're
idea.
talking about, right?
Should Jadeja bowl in the first hour of the day? It totally depends on how the other bowlers go. It'll be quite sad if he does bowl in the first hour of the day, which means the fast bowlers haven't done the job. Brook averages 23 versus spinning in England. Jadeja is the key. He needs to get Brook. Yeah. If you were looking, yeah,
MLC.
When you said MCL, it's called MCL. I apologize. All right. I think if you're talking about matchups, it will be interesting to see if Jadeja does bowl in the first hour. But given the conditions, I'll be shocked if he
Yeah,
bowls in the first
we
hour.
have 4 fast bowlers. If
Yeah.
if Jaddu still has to ball in the first hour, there's something wrong.
How much lead will be satisfactory for India at this point? I meant MLC. Typo, guys. Right. How much lead?
Let's hope India gets a lead.
Yeah.
A good lead would even be something like 50 to 80 runs, because that is a decent amount to play with.
Himesh, you saying Prasid's length is too short. He needs to get fuller to be more effective. It's very reminiscent of Ishan Sharma. And I think as easy as it sounds, it's a lot. It's difficult to do that. But you're right. I mean, Prasid Krishna needs to at least bowl it a tap. What I want from him is consistency. Even if you're bowling it short, just consistently bowl it short.
And bowl to your fields.
Yeah,
Don't bowl outside off stump half volleys when
true.
you have two fielders on the boundary on the leg side.
There's a podcast Jared did with somebody who has done PhD in swing bowling, and he said forecast doesn't play a role in swing bowling. I've read that actually. I've read that
Interesting.
somewhere. I don't know what to think about that because
I'd like to know the reasoning for that as to
yeah.
why he thinks that doesn't play a role.
I don't know if it's the forecast or just the
It's the
content.
moisture content
Yeah,
as
so
far
like
as I
with
know.
forecast, there is like in England, for example, more moisture content. But like when you're playing in Bangalore and it's not overcast, you still get swing and like Bhuvneshwar Kumar got in 2012 against Pakistan. And so
No, but you did see the conditions get so much spicier yesterday when it was overcast. So obviously it plays a
I'm
part.
sure there's a correlation. I'm sure it's not a direct relation to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure there's a correlation to it. We need Prithvi Shaw there. Lovely. Ishan starting bowling a bit fuller in the latter part of his career. Tanuj, you're absolutely right. We have actually made an entire video on this. And if you didn't know, the reason he started bowling a lot fuller is because of Jason Gillespie. Shocker. He went to play county cricket in England and the coach was Jason Gillespie, and he credits Jason Gillespie a lot for how his career turned around. If you haven't read about it, read about it. If you haven't checked that video out of us, might
Check
as
it
well.
out.
Siraj and Prasid are giving too many loose balls and not being able to create any pressure. I actually have a question for you. After the first hour, let's say no wicket falls, Bumrah and Siraj have done what they can. Prasid Krishna has been introduced. Maybe Siraj is still going from the other end.
Yeah.
What's your game plan after that?
So I think with Prasid, with any of the bowlers for that matter, I'm sure they'll have, and the batters who are batting at the moment,
Let's just say
things would be
Siraj
Brook
and
and
Bumrah
Pope.
have been fantastic.
They're
Lots of
not getting
plays, yeah,
wickets.
lots of plays and misses. They've done everything right by the end of the first hour.
Hmm.
Nothing goes right for them in terms of the wicket column.
Yeah.
And so then what do you do?
Why am I still stuck?
So
Are
this-
we out of battery? Awesome. Dude, sometimes I think you're just going to be unlucky like that, as we saw with Akashdeep in the BGT, where
True.
he just kept getting the edge. It wouldn't carry, or he would just keep beating the bat. You'll just have to switch things up. I mean, what else can you do? Because you
Yeah.
can't bowl Siraj and Bumrah forever. When you start off with Prasid, though, come with a plan. Don't just be like, Prasid, ball whatever you want to, which I know they won't do that.
Right.
But it has to be a plan that is executed. And based on the kind of pressure that has been built, and considering this is baseball, at least don't leak boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're going to give them the odd run, firstly, like, try and keep it tight. And with the bowling changes, don't give boundaries.
Cold air definitely does have an effect. Oh, I lost that, man. Oh, yeah. I don't think it's the moisture content. Probably. At this point,
That would make sense, because if it's overcast, it does mean that it is getting cooler. By the way, we
Jared
are
Kimber has told this on this channel many times that Siraj won't perform well as long as he is used as a second option in Shami's absence. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
it's easy to say that, except we don't have a second option. Like, the only second option that we have is Siraj.
and Siraj also balls a wobble, which not too many others in the current lineup
Yeah.
do, with the kind of execution that Siraj has.
Talk about India's fielding wise, Bumrah fielding in the deep, didn't understand. You know that I was thinking about this. Bumrah wasn't sweepers,
Yeah.
which I don't know how often he does that.
Yeah.
But like, where else would he place him?
Maybe it could have been that he wanted some. He was on
Yeah,
the boundary.
usually,
But yeah, usually you won't see Bumrah at the sweeper position.
which is quite interesting to me.
Yeah.
Usually, the theory is that bowlers bowl fuller and try to swing the ball under clouds, and also the same movement under clouds is harder due to lower visibility, a bit like white ball under lights. I don't know about the visibility aspect. I don't think that's necessarily true, but yeah, sure. It will be interesting to actually find out why it swings a lot more.
Yeah. We are almost
Do you think Bhuvi is
on
better
time.
choice than Siraj? Oh, right. Oh, I didn't even realize. We're 5 minutes before the start of play. This is it. I just went on with the chat. Also because we started late, so it didn't
Okay.
feel very long. I
Chat is
usually
keeping
check
things
time.
interesting, which is
I
nice.
mean, Boom and Krishna should start, and Siraj should come in first change. Yeah, that's not a bad option, to be honest. If Siraj wants a particular end and he thinks he can only do well from that end, then might as well.
Oh yeah.
This has been a pre-match. We will see you guys post-match, post-day that is, at 11 or depending on if it rains, then 11:45 like last night. Thank you guys so much for watching. We always appreciate the support. We will bring in a lot of stats, a lot of technical breakdowns, and a lot of, hopefully, positive coverage. The last time I did say that, we went on to score 400 runs. So, 300 runs. And so,
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a little more positive outcome from today, unlike yesterday. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you post-match. Before you guys leave, like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you guys didn't know already, we are hosting an event in Bangalore on July the 6th, which is a Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you're not going to miss a ball of the test match. And we will have this. So that day we may not do a pre-match live because we will be live in that event.
Yeah, true. And yeah, just stay tuned for more announcements where it's, I mean, we know where it's going to be, but just watch out for our social media.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching Controversial Opinion. Jadeja's 5 for coming. Judge, I hope you're right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.